Firstly, it's a heck of an opening game for a World Cup. It was everything that we anticipated. A French team that really threw a lot at us. Great crowd, great build-up. Congratulations to France. I thought they were the better team on the night. I was really satisfied with a lot of stuff that we did for large parts of that game, but they managed to squeeze us territory possession, and particularly in that last quarter, and really force us to play under a lot of pressure. So they certainly earned their win, and it was a big one-off game for us. It just doesn't change a lot. We've now just got to go and find another direction through this pool and get excited about the next 3 games. So I welcome your questions.
At the back.
Can you see?
Ian, Ollie here. Could you just give us an update on how serious the injury is to Sam? What did he do? When did he do it? And how concerning is that?
I did it yesterday late afternoon, the captain's run, and he was just doing a bit of lifting of a jumper at kickoff and brought them down, and he felt his back get strained, so he was pretty stiff last night. We had a look at him this morning, late morning, and made a decision to pull him. So look, he's freeing up. He was certainly a lot better today than what he was yesterday. He was moving well tonight, but it was just because we didn't have real clear information about how bad that back was, we made that decision to pull him.
Please remember to state your name and your organisation, please.
Kim here from TVNZ. Adi, losing your captain on the day of a match like this, how does that mentally affect a team?
Well, obviously, Foz mentioned, Sammy kind of did his back at captain's run, so it was a what-if, and it was kind of put in the back of our mind. It's always sad, losing your skip. But this team, we've got players that can fill in, and we're always prepared for what if. So, Toops, I thought, slotted in well at 6, and Dalt shifted to 7. So, we just went on with it, and that's what we did.
Ian, the first time the All Blacks have lost a pool play game in the history at the Rugby World Cup, how do you rebuild? Do you have to rebuild this team for the remainder of the pool phase?
No, I don't think we have to rebuild. I think, look, stats are stats, and I understand all that, but in the past we've won all our pool games and not necessarily won a tournament. The goal is to win the tournament. And let's be frank, this game was always massive, wasn't it? And, we know how strong France are. We wanted to go in and get excited about playing, and I think you saw that ambition from us. I thought the way we started the game, started both halves, whenever we had an opportunity to play, I thought we were pretty efficient at taking it. But we just denied opportunities to really attack them in their half. And so, there will be some aspects, Elliot, we're going to have to rebuild a little bit. We've got to get better. We certainly got, it was a little bit frustrating, some of the pictures that we painted at scrum time for the ref when perhaps they were painting a slightly different picture and getting away with it. So, we've got to be smarter at that. And certainly if you get isolated against France, they're very, very good at attacking the ball. And as we searched for more in that latter part of that second half, we gave them opportunity, and they were too good in that space. So some good lessons, but look, we're not down in the shed. We're frustrated that we lost a game. We fired some good bullets to them. We just didn't fire enough.
Shanaka from NBC Fuzzy. Just to ask whether you think there's any disparity between the scoreline and the actual contest on the field?
Well, it certainly felt like that, but there's not much point arguing about it. It is what it is, and they were good enough at the end when we were trying to chase a few things, and the bounce of the ball at the end probably inflated the score a little bit, but I think it was a pretty tough game on both sides. You know, I think there were times that I thought they were out on their feet in the last 10 minutes before half-time. You know, we should have been a little bit more efficient when we had them near their goal line and we threw a loose pass and missed it in the corner at a time that I felt was really on for us to hit them at that point. So we weren't quite good enough just before half-time, and they were good enough just before full-time. So you got to let them have that.
Mark here from Stuff. Artie, could you just speak to, I guess, the 2019 experience and how you saw South Africa lose that first game and then go on to win the World Cup? How much hope does that give you, and what are the keys going to be for you guys now to turn this around like they did?
Yeah, I guess kind of answers that question that was asked before around the first time us losing a pool game in, you know, Rugby World Cup history. And, you know, South Africa, you know, lost in 2019 the first game against us and went on to win the competition. So for us, you know, we, you know, obviously, you know, frustrated we lost tonight. You know, we lost the battle, but there's still a war to be won, and to win that, you got to win the next three, and how you do that is worry about the next one and take the lessons from this game and move forward. So, yeah, like Foz said, France squeezed us. We weren't good enough in certain moments in the game, and we've got to rectify that and move forward and take the positives out of this game and build our confidence to really go at it next week.
Sheree Kenny here from the New Zealand Herald. Artie, can you speak a little bit to what it was like to play in front of such a passionate French crowd there tonight?
Yeah, it was an awesome experience. It's I said it during the week. It's kind of like a dream come true as a footy player playing, you know, at the top stage in our sport. And sometimes you couldn't even hear Yako doing the scrum calls or hear our own teammates calling the calls, and that's how passionate and how awesome, you know, the fans were tonight. You know, and I thought they really lifted, you know, the French side, and you know, hearing them chant and them building their confidence, it's awesome to see, not only for the French team, but I think for the game in general.
Ian, Kim here from TVNZ. You put a big focus on discipline after that test against South Africa at Twickenham. I think the penalty count in this game ended up at 12-4, not in your favour. What do you put that down to?
Yeah, pressure, I think. You know, I think there were too many that came in the last 25 minutes of the game, and you've got to give France some credit for that. I thought too, you know, obviously Will was a bit clumsy with a couple of aerial things, and the second one hurt us. It's been an area that we've, I think, worked particularly well on this year. It's helped us attack from our own half, but we weren't quite good enough in that space, and when you're clumsy in that space, it hurts. And so, you know, that yellow card came at a bad time, and against a team that like to kick a lot and exploit backfields, playing with 14 makes you work really, really hard in that particular patch. So, and you know, France were good enough to take advantage of that. So, you know, we've got to get better. I thought early on our discipline was very good, and you know, I know we conceded a couple of scrum penalties, but and there were some pitches there that we got to paint a little bit better for the ref. But overall, I thought our discipline was pretty strong in that first half, and you know, we kept our sideline. We were working hard on our getting their big runners on the ground, and when we had the ball, I thought we played with good ambition. So I think there's a lot of good stuff in that game, to be honest. But it was just frustrating that we couldn't really strike in that middle of that second half. Kimberly from TV1, is it?
Ian Finn here from Rugby Pass. You've spoken about, obviously, it was a real battle out there tonight. You've both spoken about it. But looking ahead to the rest of the tournament, did you see enough out there, enough positives that gives you confidence that if you did meet France again, you could reverse the result?
Yeah, I do. Definitely, but we'd have to shift. We'd have to shift a couple of areas. You know, like we'd have to get, I think, more efficient in the year. I think it's an area we've been good at, and we perhaps weren't as good at chasing our own kicks today, and that's obvious. I thought our scrum, we scrum particularly well for spells of that game, but like I just repeated, I think we painted a picture that enabled them to exploit us a little bit, and we'll chase that up with the officials, but we've got to be smarter in that space because that gave them a little bit of early momentum and some early points. So that side of it got to be good, and I thought the other penalties were really, most of them were about them getting on the ball really, really quickly and us not being able to move them, and so that's controllable by us, and something that we, I think we take a lot of pride in that part of our game, and man, they set a pretty high marker for us, so we've been given that message.
Ian Elliott from News Talk ZB again. Hindsight's obviously a wonderful thing, but do you perhaps wish you'd had another loose forward in the mix given the injuries you've had?
Hindsight is wonderful, isn't it? No, look, we're really satisfied. We obviously believed in the squad we picked to come here. It's incredibly sad for Amoni that he's had to succumb to an injury again, and so that's frustrating. I think we had a list of injured players the last 10 days. It has put us under a little bit of pressure. Everyone's seen that, but we're pretty comfortable with the squad we got. I thought Tupou played well for large periods. I thought he ran out of steam a little bit. We had to bring Guz back probably a week earlier than we expected, and so we limited his time. But again, he's trained well and he came through that. So, he'll be back up to full steam now. So we've got him back on board, and like I said, we'll be bringing someone in, and don't be surprised if it's a loose forward.
We may have time for two more, so one at the back and then one.
Hey Artie, Ollie here. As a playing group, when you lose your first game of a World Cup, how do you ensure that heads don't drop, that mentally you stay sharp, and that, I suppose looking bigger picture at this tournament, you don't let this result weigh on you too much? Yeah,
I think it's important to stay close and stay tight. I think tonight it's okay for the boys to feel the hurt and feel the loss, but it's us. It's up to us as leaders and as a group to be able to bring the boys together. And like I said, it's ideally, we wanted to win tonight, but we didn't. So, we got to shift our focus to what's next, and that's regrouping the boys. Like Foz said, looking at things in our game that we did well, and the things that kind of let us down, and how we can turn those into positive opportunities for us. So, it's really important for us to regroup, reset, and go about as normal with our mahi.
Ian, sorry if I missed this before, but did you actually have any sort of prognosis on Sam in terms of his recovery timeframe and when you might expect him back?
No, I haven't, but simply because it only happened late yesterday afternoon, and we assessed him today, and he was obviously trying to do everything he can to get back to play. So we'll have a good look at that tomorrow, but he's certainly freeing up all the time. And he says he's had it before, but we'll check it out properly. But it's just a back strain, and so his back's gone into a little bit of spasm around a disc, and we've just got to make sure that everything settles down before we push it. But it doesn't look too serious at this stage.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. This is the end of the first media conference.
Thank you.
We'll follow up shortly with France.